Leeds United made the most of their second chance in the European Cup against Stuttgart, the team they say has more foreign reserves than the Bank of England. Leeds won 2-1 in Barcelona in front of a tiny crowd. Their hero was Shutt. He scored the winner less than a minute after coming on as a substitute, and tomorrow's his birthday.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 153 of the Talking Shutt podcast, brought to you by our loyal sponsors, the ball trimmers themselves, Manscaped. It's brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their fourth-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, across Europe. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with Shaving Shutt at manscaped.com. So yeah, get them balls trimmed, men, and even ladies if that's your thing. Anyway, good evening. For those watching live, you may realise that we're all wearing the same shirt. And some of you may be thinking, as Matt Lawson's rightly saying here, like, why all the matching shirts? Well, on social media, you may have seen this week that Leeds TV took on a Leeds United media team, 7-a-side, and we've reviewed the footage, shall we say, and basically this is like one of them fighter call-out moments where we're going, we've all got a kit, we're ready for whoever fancies it. Whoever wants it, you can have it. You can have it.
You'll do nothing.
You'll do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Also, we've got 2 goalkeepers and 2 outfielders, so that's about as good as we've got at the moment. Yeah. But we can call them some favours.
Paddy can play for us.
We'll
get Young Ben in.
Young Ben back in again, yeah. So yeah,
Young Ben just to do running because that's what he's best at these days.
He does now, yeah. So any 5-a-side teams out there, if you want it, come and get it.
Not any, just on Leeds TV.
Yeah, just on Leeds TV. Anyway, we're ready for you. Anyway, welcome to episode 153 of the Talking Shutt podcast. The Euros are well and truly in the back burner now, and we are fully all speed ahead, looking towards the new season. So we'll have a little bit of a look about transfers, ins and outs at Leeds. We'll have a chat about what we think we should be signing, what we shouldn't be signing. We'll talk about the shirt and the sleeve sponsor, which has divided opinion a little bit. And I'll do that in the capable hands of my fellow co-hosts. Technical Ben, as he's now been nicknamed because all our studio equipment has just arrived. So Technical Ben, would you like to give us some of it? The main bits, shall we say? The main bits.
Yeah.
So how are you, Technical Ben, anyway?
Yeah, good. Enjoying the nice weather. As you can see, it's like on the side of my face.
Yeah, it's nice. And we're joined by Mike, who's sporting his guitar in the background again. How's you, Mike? And some nice plants as well.
Yeah, very nice.
Very well. A strategically placed scarf.
Strategically placed scarf from our friends at the Terrace. For his alter ego, Terrace Mike. Yeah, which
buy Terrace
talked
stuff
about before. Yeah, buy lots of Terrace.
Yeah, no, I'm great, guys. All the better for being here, mate.
Yeah, excellent, mate. And we're joined by the main man who just cracked 500k in his running for the year, which is pretty impressive. Rags, all right, Rags.
Yeah. You've actually caught me on a moment I'm not actually running.
Good.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that.
Mate, it's a good effort, like.
Set a target at the beginning of the year, and I'm way ahead of that. So just need to keep ploughing on.
Yeah. So, lads, what have we made of the weather? There's a few people in the comments saying it's hot out. All that type of stuff. How have you dealt with the weather? I slept outside the other night, which was a difference. Being of
was that a disagreement with the missus though?
But no, being of ginger origin, when I had hair, it was of the African sunset variety. I don't cope very well in the heat. I love the sun, but it hates me. And I'm one of them people who, when you get a bit hot and sweating, you start getting a bit just a bit angst. I'm like, got to get rid of this. So basically, I built myself some decking outside, some deck seating outside, and I basically took myself a duvet, took me 2 loyal dogs to keep me safe from the barons around Royston, and went and got my head down on bench.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice breeze.
I've become a wind engineer this last few nights.
Okay, talk to me about wind engineering, Ben.
So I've got
You
two.
maybe need to cut
two
back on the
fans.
eggs. 2 fans.
So I've got air flowing in from front of the house through a window that's then getting pushed through a fan into our bedroom where we have a ceiling fan, and it's just cool as fuck.
Cool.
Wow.
Cool as
Yeah,
fuck.
sounds good. Cool as fuck. Ceiling
cool
fan.
as
Where
fuck.
do you think you are? Do you think you're on holiday?
I know, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
That's good.
it's
that.
one of the best things I've ever bought in this house.
Have you ever considered like trying to swing on it and see how many rotations you can do?
No.
No, okay, that'll be some. I've got a funny story about that. I used to go in a boozer with some lads somewhere. I'll keep it very loose. And on the roof of this place was a snowboard with some shoes. What are they called? Shoes attached to it. So we decided one night that we could probably get one of the lads to stand in it and see how long he could stand up. Not very long is the answer, and we got barred. So yeah, that's the end of that. Anyway. So yeah, we're a little bit sweaty, but not too sweaty. Ben's been telling us about his wind engineering, and we've got some Leeds United stuff to talk about. Obviously, a fair few people tuning in at the moment and leaving comments. Please get any questions, get your suggestions in for players we should be signing, and as we're seeing quite a few here, there's a few weather forecasts as well. Stephen Mayer says it's going to thunderstorm at the weekend, which is lovely because I'm not at work.
I'm going away this weekend. So yeah.
Where are you going, Rags?
Of course, it's good. Northumberland.
Oh, lovely place of the world.
Yes. Looking forward to that, but yeah, thunderstorms. Nice heat wave while I'm at work, and then
it'd be good. So transfers and lads, we're raging towards the new season in earnest, if you like. The first pre-season games begin next week. Myself and Technical Ben are off to Blackburn, not together, but we'll be in the same ground. It's beginning to get to that point now where we're going to start doing the deals that we need to do. Obviously, already got Junior Firpo in. And it looks like some point tonight, the lad Lewis Bate, is going to sign from Chelsea. A little bit on Lewis then. Well thought of at Chelsea, I would say. I saw a few reports saying that actually out of him and Billy Gilmore, a lot of the staff down there believe that he could do a bit more than Billy Gilmore. So that's definitely interesting. But he's been described as a slight but combative midfielder with an eye for a defence-splitting forward pass. He played 6 times for the Chelsea under-18s in 2018-2019. He represented England at under-17s level, including the European Championships, and he progressed to the 18s in 2020. He signed a professional contract with them shitheads down there in October 2019, and he made the development squad against Tottenham in January 2020, and he's made 1 appearance on the bench as an unused substitute for the first team against Sheffield United in July 2020. There's talks of about 1.5 million with some add-ons and a percentage sell-on to Chelsea, but no buyback clause. Lads, what do you reckon to this one? Because I'll be honest, I'd never heard of him, to be honest, as I've not a lot of the youngsters at Chelsea, but done a little bit of looking into him. He obviously gave the game away because he followed all of the Leeds team on Instagram, giving the big indicator that he's definitely coming. Have you managed to see much of him, Mike or Ben? I know, Rags, you've been double busy, so you've not, but you managed to see much of him?
No, but just looking at the price, it looks like he's the same quality as Greenwood, really. That's what I'm feeling. And he's not, he's kind of a similar position. It looks like the front three are going to be frightening for the under-23s next season. And with Greenwood and Bate in the midfield as well, looks like it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and all the pre-season videos as well that we've seen, which have kind of dried up as they generally do at this time. We have a little bit of a burst of look at the lads running around Thorpe Arch, then we have complete radio silence for a bit, and then there'll be one of Rafina taking piss out of some youth on that table tennis table thing. But we've seen Noah Kenner and Joe Gellard featuring quite a lot in them videos with the first team, along with, I think I saw Max Dean in there as well. Or no, it might have been Jack Jenkins actually. There's my 20%. Lewis Bate. I mean, it brings an interesting question up, lads. What does it mean for Alfie McCalmont? I know he's obviously gone out on loan to Morecambe, but long term, what does it mean for Alfie McCalmont? What does it mean for Robbie Gotts? There's talk that Niall Huggins is going to leave. There's talk that Leif Davis might join Bournemouth on loan. Are we seeing an attempt at and no disrespect to these guys, but are we seeing an attempt at an upgrade on them type of players to be in and around that Premier League 1 for the academy?
I think that's probably the thinking behind it. What's also good is we're buying British again, and I know that's I'm not being all Brexit about it.
Brexit rags.
But you look at the yeah, clip it up. I've got to get off at 7. Actually, Farage is on GB News. No, but also like when you look at it for the next kind of these are obviously signings for the next few years in mind, and if the club is kind of ambitious as we want them to be and pushing for the likes of Europe and stuff like that, you have to think about homegrown players for European squads and things like that. So it's all well and good. We know we're going to probably go out into foreign markets, and that's probably good for the first team. But especially for the that under 23s and I think it's great, and I think it's also quite good for a player like Lewis Bate at Chelsea, who we've seen a lot of Chelsea youngsters over the who aren't youngsters anymore go out and get farmed out season after season on loan, and whereas this is a permanent move, and it's probably good for him in that respect, because he probably sees a better future at a club like Leeds, where he's probably got a better chance into the first team than at Chelsea.
Yeah, and I've just flashed up on the bottom of the screen Kay Meacock on Periscope, which is obviously Twitter. Does someone like Joffrey or Bate put pressure on Shaq then as the reserve youth midfielder? And that's an interesting one, as in the fact that Jamie Shaq has been in and around it, but never really been able to cement himself a position prior to Stuart Dallas playing in that midfield. He weren't favoured for Stuart Dallas. Yeah, he weren't put in there when it's probably arguably in a more natural position for him. What is the future for Jamie Shaq? Is he going to be sort of on the fringes again next year? What happens to Jamie Shackleton?
Would it be a problem? I guess I get it down to his ambition. But if you were Jamie Shackleton and you were playing part in whether it's been starting 1 or 2 and coming on as sub for 10, 11 games or whatever, however you want to, he does it. Would it be that bad in hanging around at Leeds?
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways of looking at it.
He'd be pushing right back spot. That's what I always thought. Possibly, yeah. And then this season's just gone, and Ayling's had probably the season of his life, if not next season. And it just seems further and further away. I don't think that's helped Shackleton at all. That Ayling's just adapted so well to the Prem. Maybe he's waiting for Ayling's legs to go a bit. Maybe,
but then Mike, there's an argument that Cody Drama's coming up behind him as a natural right back. I mean, I don't know with Jamie Shaq. There's two ways of looking at him. There's the club way of looking at it, which they'd be happy to have a kid around who's happy to, give a 1,000,000% in training. He's led to believe he's one of the fitter players, if not the fittest. And he's happy to fit in and be around the squad and all that. But then there's the Jamie Shackleton side of things where he's looking at. He's being a Premier League midfielder. He's not getting much younger. Is he 22, 23 maybe, something like that?
He could easily go play in the Championship.
Yeah, absolutely, and be a starting midfielder, I think, in there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm quite happy to have Jamie Shackleton around the place. I think is good to fit in, but I kind of get the feeling that we might outgrow him, if that makes sense. Like to the point where he'll end up getting moved on. I don't know. It's an interesting one, and we'll have to sort of keep an eye on that.
Well, that links into what we've seen with Jordan Stevens as well. When they're in the youth squad, you think, they could go. The sky's the limit. And then you see him on trial at Harrogate Town, and you think, have they found the level there?
He didn't kind of get any great rave reviews at Swindon, though. I think he set off like an house on fire, and then I seem to remember their manager making such comments as, like, if he concentrated on football or something along them lines, and he didn't feature a great deal. And similar for Robbie Gotts, obviously. Adam Stocks, who listens to the show from Gone Off on a Tangent podcast, he knows a couple of guys at Lincoln. He lives in Lincoln, and Robbie Gotts went to Lincoln, and he couldn't get in their midfield for love nor money. So he played a few times at right back, and then ultimately Leeds opted to take him away from there and send him to Salford, which he had a strong season at Salford the time we were there. But again, it's a drop down in standard for Robbie Gotts, isn't it? And I kind of beginning to think that, do you know what? Maybe Robbie Gotts is going to see his career somewhere else, than Leeds, to be honest. But we'll have to wait and see.
Well, Shackleton's better than League Two, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Like Ben said, I think Shackleton could go to a Championship club and have himself a starting berth. Maybe not at the top end initially. He might have to kind of go out and reinvigorate himself a little bit, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It's one to keep an eye on. And Lewis Bate, obviously, who they're expecting to get done tonight, will be having a medical. He'll be currently in some sort of like hyperbaric chamber, being told to hold his breath while they figure out how much fat he's got on his bones or something. Because that's what we do nowadays. We test people's eyes and stuff. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see if he does put pressure on James Shackleton.
More immediately in the under-23s as well, with Lewis Bate coming in, you've got McKinstry and McGurk, who has just signed, but McKinstry's in there as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's
a lot of competition, but it seems like healthy, talented competition.
I mean, we've discussed this before, haven't we? I think the sort of romantic side of being a Leeds fan is that you want to see every young Leeds player come through and make it big at Leeds, like we've seen with Calvin. Calvin, arguably, now is since Woodgate and Kewell, not Bowyer, obviously didn't come through our youth setup, but since then, he's probably the most successful youth product we've had. Obviously, Lewis Cook did well, but then it stuttered due to injury. Yeah. Charlie Taylor, there's an argument for him. Milner,
Delph.
So Delph, yeah, but I mean, since that sort of time, But like now, you start thinking, maybe what we discussed before, that some of them youth players actually are about, bringing money back into Leeds, strengthening us in terms of financially. So yeah. We'll have to wait and see. My son's just coming back in from football training, and I'm kind of giving him the eye to say, "Be quiet as you come in from the front room." So I'm in the front room. I'm recording from the front room.
The red light's on.
Yeah, the red. Shut up. So that's Lewis Bate. Expected to get done tonight. We'll have to wait and see. Looks a talented lad. We're talking an elite level, talent at one of the top of his age group in this country. The next name, then, lads, that we're going to talk about is Farid Boulaya, Mets attacker. Name came pretty much out of the blue. I think it got leaked from kind of France way on. He's 28 now. When somebody texted me saying, "What about this guy?" And straight away I thought, "It's old." Yeah. I know that's strange, but then somebody did say to me, "But we signed a 28-year-old Rodrigo." But I would argue that Rodrigo's
a higher level
stock was a higher level than his
better pedigree.
So, yeah, but he's an Algerian international. He's an attacker. Seems an exciting guy. He would fit into potentially all three positions across that midfield, as in either wing and a 10. I just can't see this one happening. It's got a feeling to me of like an agent using Leeds to push. Like, it's one of the things. He's 28, coming up to his last big contract. Potentially gets his last big contract in the Premier League. Leeds are exciting. He's exciting. Let's use Leeds' name to get him a move to Premier League. Get somebody like Burnley go. We'll nick in front of him because Leeds want him.
We got linked with a Mets player last window as well, like Diallo or whatever. Yeah, it seems like one of them. It's just a throwaway link, really.
Ben, do you agree? Do you think it's a throwaway link, or do you think there might be something in it?
Yeah, I don't think there's all in it, but in a way, some of it kind of makes sense. That it'd be quite cheap as well, and if there's an option to sort of get a player in, and which doesn't really go with how Bielsa goes, but if you were looking at bringing someone in who could maybe be a bench player, or replace Costa. I want to speak about Costa in a bit. Actually, I think he's worth keeping, but
he's on the list. He's on the list to talk about.
The price is not going to be too high, and if it's something who can offer something for 4.5 million or whatever, 4 or 5 million, and it can offer something off the bench or something like that, it could be worth a sort of punt at something like that. But it just doesn't seem how Bielsa would do it.
No, I agree. So yeah, we'll have to see on that one. Yeah, 4.5 million euros is a figure that's been touted about. Quite where it's being touted about from, I'm not too sure, but it has done. So a deal that appears to be a little bit closer is Christopher Klassen, the Vålerenga goalkeeper, 20 years old. Typically, he got linked to Leeds and then he flapped one in his net at the weekend. However, I got sent the goals he conceded, and might be a little bit harsh to call him on one of them for sure. But it appears that one's gone to a work permit, potentially looking at something like an exceptional talent work permit because he don't quite qualify with the new Brexit. Rags, do you know about this? The new Brexit points.
We voted out, didn't we?
You
We don't
don't
know
know
if
about
we want him. No,
everyone
fuck
out.
him.
Everyone out. So yeah, an interesting one. Obviously, he'll play second fiddle to Meslier, but will potentially look to push him from the videos I've seen. A shot stopper, very good shot stopper. Not quite a straight 1-for-1 swap with Meslier from the videos I've seen and the bits I've read. Maybe not as good as his feet as Meslier is or as cool as Meslier is. But yeah, it looks like he might be our number 2 goalkeeper. The others have gone a little bit quiet on that. And again, there's talk of a... And then Valerenga in a really weird kind of way as well have come out and praised Leeds United for the way they've gone about stealing their best goalkeeper. I find that quite peculiar. It must be, I don't know. It's a strange one for sure. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on this one. So the next name that has been deemed as being a controversial name to be linked is Oke Yoksulu from Celta Vigo, spent last year on loan at West Bromwich Albion. And from what I can work out, the controversy comes because he's Turkish. Now,
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but like he never played for that club that we talk about. I don't personally, if he's going to improve our team, I don't see there being an issue just because he's Turkish. Yeah. If we were signing him from that club, there would be an enormous issue, but we're not.
You have to remember that 90% of Turkey hates that club just as much as we do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I did see him in the Euros for Turkey, and I think immobile would be a way that I would describe him. He didn't look the most athletic, so he might need 6 months under Bielsa.
Not like the Italian striker, then.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, good one. I'd also be concerned that he came and played in that West Brom team that sank like a stone under Allardyce.
Never a good sign.
And I watched a lot of Premiership football last season, and I can't remember even seeing him play. No. So, or even hearing his name. So, yeah, if he didn't stand out in a very, very abject West Brom side, then...
Yeah, and the fact is, if his parent club, Celta Vigo, don't want him, you know, do we really want him?
I think this one's grown legs a little bit because Orta appeared to flirt with him on a podcast that he was on, calling him a great player and that he'd love to sign him and that. But then since then, there's been these reports that the politics around the deal probably mean it won't work. So I don't know. Could be a little bit of posturing going off. It could be, took out of context in terms of what Orta said for this podcast, and it could be a little bit of posturing from there. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Like we usually say as well with the agent, if Yokuslu's had a shocker of a season at West Brom, he's gonna, his agent's gonna try and get anything he can to posture a move, like you say.
Yeah. The next name is
as well for me. I was going to say on Yokuslu, we've got Calvin Phillips who's going to play in the 4, and then you've got Struijk, you've got Koch who's sort of played there recently, and if Yokuslu comes in, he's only ever going to be someone on the bench.
Yeah.
So at 27, is that a move you want?
Yeah.
No, Bielsa's watched England in this tournament, and we're going double pivot.
Yeah. Rags, do us a favour. Never say double pivot ever again. Please never say double pivot.
I'm just doing it to wind you up, mate.
I don't know where these things have now appeared from. Double
we get
pivot,
Bamford in the false
single
nine.
Pivot, low block, high block.
In the false nine.
Like, what's wrong with two older midfielders? Press it. I don't. It's annoying. Double pivot. It's like the Friends episode where Ross is shouting "pivot" coming up the stairs with the sofa. That's what it feels like to me. The next name, then, God, there's a big list of names here. Is Jens Kajuste? I'm going with.
That is perfect pronunciation.
Yeah. Swedish international, currently playing for FC Midtjylland in Denmark. Central midfielder, 21, I believe, from what I can see here. He's played a bit of Champions League football, and interestingly, he was due to play for Midtjylland last night against Celtic, but didn't feature as they believe a deal might be close to somewhere.
You see, this one makes more sense, doesn't it? Because
it does to me,
you're comparing this to your Koshlu. He's younger. He's not played as a higher level, so it'd be there to learn from Bielsa, Phillips, and what have you, and go from there. It's an option if it ever gets to the point where we can train him up, and in a year's time, if someone comes in with a silly £200 million bid, because that's what I'll have to take for Phillips, although everyone seems to be wanting him to go to Liverpool right now, which ain't going to happen.
Apart from Calvin,
yeah. But yeah, that seems more of a better way of approaching this from
a more
Leeds,
fitting
yeah.
There are a couple of other names. Armed Traore keeps getting linked. Wolves winger, basically a greased up sprinter. The greased up Adisako is what I'm going for. No, thank you.
But if we're talking Traore, I don't see why we shouldn't just keep Costa.
I agree.
Same level.
Same lack of end product.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I joked about last year, and then he scored against us, didn't he? But
hold on. There were mitigating factors. It came back off the post and went in, didn't it?
Yeah.
So.
I watched all the goals back last Friday of this the last season, and Costa was involved in more than I thought he was.
Yeah,
especially at the start.
I think. Yeah, the problem with Costa is you want to see him running at people, and you just get a bit of lethargicness from him, and you sort of see it as not being as interested.
That has been my main problem with him from day one. Just
getting him
when he is on fire, he's good. He's very good. Yeah. But you only get that, a third of the time, if that, and the rest of the time he does look like he can't be arsed. And it stands out so much in this team because everyone else grafts their bollocks off all the time. And it does stick out.
Another name linked to come to Leeds for a second time is Dan James. But then I saw a report saying that
second time.
Well, yeah, he were here before, weren't he? Just not kind of
third
officially.
Time. Fourth time.
But I saw some other day saying Scummers value him at 60 million.
Do they?
Yeah. Well, we ain't paying that.
That's
to
which
point I thought they needed to put down the crack pipe and stop being ridiculous. So, I can't see...
Did you see that Aaron Ramsdale was linked to Arsenal for 30 million today? So that valuation isn't far from the mark.
Yeah, if that's the standard.
Runner-up.
There are some crazy ass deals appear to be flying around at the moment, to be honest. I even saw, my lad Judd said today that apparently Jared Bowen is on Liverpool's shortlist, which, again, not taking away from Jared Bowen, but... Liverpool, if that is the case, Liverpool suddenly shopping in a different aisle of the supermarket compared to what they used to be shopping in.
I don't think Liverpool will buy anyone. I can't see them buying anyone. They might maybe make like one big signing like they did last season. But all this, they'll buy him and him and him. It's like, nah. They're the finished article, aren't they? Like,
yeah, I can't see that. So, outgoings then, fellas. We've had a little chat about Costa there. He's been linked with Valencia, I think, or Valencia have shown some interest in him. Depending on what comes in, I know, Ben, you have already said that Costa were more involved and you'd keep him around the place. So I'll riddle you this. If we've got what we've got now and we don't bring anybody in and then Costa goes out, would you be disappointed?
If we don't bring anyone in?
Don't bring anyone in.
No, you'd need to replace him.
Well, that leaves you with what? Harrison, Rafinha...
Stuart Dallas.
Do you see Dallas as a winger these days? Because I don't.
Listen, he can play anywhere. Stuart Dallas.
Well, he can, but I'm going. Yeah, Harrison, Rafinha, Poveda,
Shackleton, right winger,
and then you're into under 23s, Somerville. But they haven't even played first team football.
No, true.
Somerville haven't played. Well, none of them.
I think ideally a nice set squad of Rafinha, Harrison, Costa, and someone else is enough options, and then you've got the young lads to back that up.
You have two in every position, aren't you? That's the key.
Stephen Mayer's coming up with a really good bit here that's worth Are Leeds playing it careful a little bit because of the JKA thing that's still hanging around like a bad smell?
Angus,
thing,
you can nip that in the bud. Angus said a while ago, he said the 18 million won't have any effect on the spending budget. That's what Angus said. I can't remember if it was in programme notes or on a podcast or whatever, but yeah, he said it won't have any effect. That's been pre-budgeted, and
maybe Mr. Lowy is just going to cover that with like what's down back at setting.
yeah,
maybe a little bit. Stu, LUFC, do you think Poveda will play more this year, lads? Now, here's my 2 penneth onto Poveda. Undoubtedly a talent, undoubtedly got, the sort of skills to be a player in the Premier League. But I'll be honest, at the moment, I don't see much end product, which is a bit of an issue for a winger.
To see.
He looks good for like knocking it through people's legs, taking people on about 6 or 7 times. But that's about it at the moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what you boys think.
Yeah, no, that's exactly when we've seen him, but he hasn't had a huge amount of chances, has he?
No. But obviously Bielsa fancies him because he plays him, doesn't he?
That's what I mean. So whether or not it's just a case of if he does get more time, would that end product come? We'll just have to see, won't we?
Yeah, but I think the noise coming out of Leeds-ish, even though somebody last week tried to tell us that we weren't signing a winger, is that we will try and do a winger, but it'll probably be later on in the window. Maybe when other things happen, other teams sign other players or whatever it may be. We saw it with Rafinha. We had Michael Couthon in the door, who's, by the way, is back at Bayern Munich. And we kicked him out and then signed Rafinha a few days later. So it just proves that players who weren't available at one minute become available and vice versa. So the wide position will probably have to wait. But let's be honest, it's not really a priority. The only worrying thing about the longer it goes on is obviously they don't get Bielsa. But then again, Rafinha didn't get Bielsa either, and he's done all right, hasn't he?
Just a bit.
Just a bit, yeah.
But if they don't, you could have that time where the few months to get them up to speed because we've got Harrison and Rafinha anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So, any more outgoings, lads? Any more worries that a massive bid might come in for a Patrick Bamford or for a Calvin Phillips or Usain Boy or anybody like that?
I might really regret this.
Sorry,
but I'm not worried about losing any of our big players. I just don't see it. It's that sort of window for a start. And also, I think the club is ambitious, and I think the club knows that to be ambitious, you have to, it would take something extraordinary, and I mean extraordinary, which I just don't think with the levels of finances across Europe and for the big teams, and they would have to be the big teams that would have to come in for the likes of Phillips or Bamford or Rafinha, then they're just not going to be doing that, and it's certainly not they're going to be doing that to Leeds. They might go for another bigger marquee signing from another club, but I'm not concerned this window at all from that side of things.
You could probably get better value elsewhere, like the problems in France with their TV money and all that, and how cheap, although they haven't really as yet, but as the market goes on and we get closer to the closing of it, there's going to be bargains to have had there, and that probably plays things on who we're trying to buy and stuff like that. It maybe that is a bit of a play in there that you leave it a couple of more weeks and go for that and maybe knock 5-10 million off.
Yeah, Jim Ogden's just come up here with still want a Samu Sayiz type player, but with better fitness and a better attitude. That out and out 10 in it. That again.
Yeah,
I've heard there's a kid at Castellon who's all right. Pablo Hernandez, I think, something like that. Yeah, he's just signed.
Might be able to get him cheap.
However, lads, talking shit on tour, I did have a little look yesterday. Leeds Bradford to Valencia, which is obviously just a bit up from or down from Castellon. 140 quid return.
Nice one.
Who's that flying with?
I don't know, like Ragtag and Bobtail Airlines or something. There's chance we might die.
My family.
So yeah, might be one worth keeping an eye on. I don't mind going out and watching Castellon, see Pablo. Be interesting. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment with deals and stuff. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and then we've got other Leeds stuff to discuss. Lads, it's been sweaty. We've already discussed this. Are you keeping your plums in good working order while it's sweaty?
You know what I did before? We had a little chat before I got ready for the show.
Yeah,
and I went and got changed, and I used the spray,
the crop preserver.
To freshen up. The spray one, not the cream, the spray one.
All right. You see, this is the question I've had. Like that, you've got obviously the Nakatoner. It's not called that, and it's not the place that John McClane threw that bloke off for either in Die Hard. That's the Nakatomi. But the Nakatoner, is that meant to be like Botox for your sack? Is that meant to like straighten it out a bit, or I'm not sure.
No, it's just to give you a bit of a zhuzh.
A bit of
a bit of freshen up.
Ah, right, okay. So what you're saying to me, Raggy, is now that we are allowed back in nightclubs because COVID's disappeared. It clearly hasn't, but you know what I mean.
Never allowed back in a nightclub.
Yeah, nightclub.
Not after last time.
Does that mean that there are now going to be people there offering you ball preserver as opposed to a bit of splash front neck as well?
Well, they should. Do they apply it?
Lads, we've obviously been there for a while now. We Manscaped. We've all got a trimmer. Are you getting on with your trimmers? I mean, I've gone in for a second charge, which I'm quite happy about. The battery life's nice, but like Mike, are you still squatting over the paper, or are you in the shower, or what's your modus operandi when it comes to shaving your knackers?
I still use the paper.
But
to be honest, I'm single, so there's no requirement for me to do it.
No real need. Yeah.
But no, yeah.
Do you not feel the need to just for like in days like this where it's a bit hot and?
Well, I mean, it's not far gone since I last did it, so it's not too bad.
But the thing is, it can be a double-edged weapon. If you go too low, you then get bat wings stuck to your legs. You need a bit of air sometimes to have a little bit of... No guard, mate. Fuck that. Take life in your own hand. Innit? Bit of blood between friends.
Go for it.
No, not like that.
Go hard or go
home.
Yeah,
bit of surgery. So we're still happy with as Knacker trimmers and lads. Still pretty impressed.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I do manage shower just because it's waterproof in it. So yeah, that's been a revelation.
And the light as well. The light's a game changer for me.
Yeah, you can take lights off and everything. You can still do it.
You can have a shower in dark.
Yeah,
it's great.
I just got a text actually. My mum has just said, "Remember, women listen to this podcast. Well, they can get a Manscaped as well. It's not just for men."
Absolutely, yeah. No, or you can use your Manscaped tool to do your lady bits.
I think we all know that women have used men's razors on the legs and that.
Yeah,
the ones that we use on our faces, they've blunted them on their legs.
Yeah. That's true. That the amount of times I've nearly got in the shower and like had a quick shave before work and spent first 2 minutes thinking I'm shaving with broken glass because it's blunt as anything is a nightmare. But yeah, anyway, if you have got a Manscaped that we already sort of sold to you or got you involved in, they've now brought out the Lawnmower 4.0, and the good thing about this is you can customize your length. You can't make the shaft bigger. That's unfortunate. However, if you shave it, it makes it look bigger.
Yeah.
What's not to love? But what you can have is a 1-to-4 ratio on how long you want the garden. So yeah, you can sort of mix it up a bit. Add a bit of style. You can put some va-va-voom in there. Rags, you could shave your name in it or something.
Yeah.
Have to leave it for a bit of growing.
I was going to say, how much have you got to start with?
Oh, mate, we have been in lockdown. We have been in lockdown, mate. So you could have grown it a bit. We have a plan to do that. Also, good news is on Manscaped now they do nose trimmers called the Weed Whacker, so you can get your nose. Because I'll be honest, I always remember as a kid, I went to Empire Stores in Wakefield. I always remember this vividly, and the woman said to me, you need a nose trimmer, and I remember like laughing at her about 12 or something, and she's like, it'll come to you, and lads, it's come to me now, like it has come to me. I need to give that a good fettle art at least a couple of times a week because I get these really like random long ones that like just put, and then like you go to like brush your nose because it's itching and it catches. So a weed whacker. Get yourself a weed whacker, and it'll sort it out.
On the new one, they've got a multifunction on and off switch, and so you can engage travel lock. So when you throw everything in your bags for when you go on holiday, and then someone at airport who's not very careful with your luggage throws it about, and then it turns it on, and you get on holiday and you need to shave, and it's out of battery.
Yeah. Right.
You can lock it.
Or it's going for security buzzing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Big questions to be asked there. Yeah. I thought, Ben, you were saying like a dead man switch there, so you turn it on and you can take your thumb. You can't take your thumb off it, so that you can't like cut yourself too bad with it or something. I don't know. Anyway,
on the nose trimmer thing as well.
Maybe that comes with the 5.
I'm 29, and the nose hair situation, big problem. I'll be tweezering, so I'll be glad to get a weed whacker.
The problem with that, mate, with the tweezer is you get one that's clearly attached to like the back of your skull.
Yeah.
And you pull it and it makes your eyes stream. You feel like you're going to be sick. You can't stop sneezing. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Anyway. So, Manscaped, you get 20% off at checkout and free international shipping with Shaving Shutt. Sorry, I'm reading comments with one eye, trying to read a thing with another. It's a nightmare. Anyway, Shaving Shutt, 20% off and free shipping worldwide with Shaving Shutt at manscaped.com. Big thanks to them for supporting us, and a big thanks to everybody who keeps ordering a Manscaped and messaging me to tell me they've ordered one. I appreciate the updates. So yeah,
but stop sending the photos.
No photos. So yeah, big thanks to them lot. Anyway, here we go. We're back to football now because a few people in comments saying, Johnny Boy thought this was a talking football podcast. Have I tuned into Loose Men? And wait till the ear hair starts looking like barbed wire. I don't have issues with ear hair because I ain't got any in my head for a start. But no. Anyway, in other news, the new shirt's out, lads. What do we think to the shirt? I'll start with you.
I like it.
Mike, what do you think to the shirt?
Well, I think I'm in disagreement. Like, I just don't like it. I mean, it just when you see it first thing, and it's not for me. I'm not a fan of the collar and the neon yellow and that.
And the white.
The white, the white they got right. They got that right, actually. I mean, it looks good on the players, but fuck me, the players are male models, aren't they? It's all going to look good on them. So, that's me. I'm holding out for the away kit if it's the dark blue and yellow. But yeah, I don't think I'll be changing from this season or my retro ones.
And the Parma Violet one that we're supposed to be getting as well, apparently.
Yeah. That could be like a cult thing. If it depends, obviously, what happens on the pitch as well. That tends to change perspectives, doesn't it? But
yeah, of course
it could become a cult sort of Fiorentina thing. But yeah, not for me. But again, it's part and parcel. You win some, you lose some with kits. Don't you? So.
Rags, what's your thought on it, mate? I know Ben likes it. I agree with Ben. I quite like it, to be honest.
I like it, and my first thing was I like the fact that it's got blue and yellow on there. I know the Adidas stripes are all yellow, but then you've got the Adidas logo in blue. You've got there's mixture of blue and yellow on the SBO top part and on the sleeve sponsor. So I wasn't too keen on that new sleeve sponsor at first, but actually just looking at it now, the more I look at it, it's got a yellow trim around it and everything, and it's the wrong shape, I reckon, because I liked the JD one because it was the same shape as the Premier League. So. I think that's a bit asymmetrical, but the actual colouring of it, I quite like it. I mean, since we got Adidas, I've been crying out for blue and yellow stripes, either one in the middle. I still think we're missing a massive trick with that. But other than that, I think it's pretty bob on, to be honest. There's nothing much you can really do with a home. So.
Yeah, I took my lad to Leeds podcast, who is currently obviously having a little bit of a break while lad does his exams and stuff. Worst home shirt since the Kappa days. Neon yellow is vile, holding out for the away. Lad, however, is spending his paperboy money on the new home kit. And while we're on about I took my lad to Leeds, they played in that game. So if you want a bit, lad and dad, come and get us. Come after us. We're ready. We've got the kit on now. We're ready for the game. We're ready. I might need 3 weeks run up to get fit.
I'll mark dad, you mark lad.
I will not be marking lad. That is not happening. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, in my opinion, I quite like it. I do think that the boxed sleeve sponsor is a little bit disgusting. It's a bit too big. I think I don't understand why boxed, the logo on the website, they sell boilers if anybody's interested, is like quite a nice, and I'm talking to a graphic designer here, by the way, but it's quite like a nice subtle type thing. And then on the arm, it looks like someone's been sick a big blue blob on his arm and put boxed in it. That's my only gripe. Color I can get around. I quite like the yellow, to be honest. I think it'll look good. It'll look fresh on a nice warm day at start of season. But yeah, the away shirt will be an interesting one. As I've just discussed, JD have announced that they are renewing with Leeds. However, not as first team shirt sponsor. I believe that they are going to sponsor the junior kits because obviously the last year didn't have one. So JD will be following them, and we've now got Box to make boilers. They are the new sleeve sponsor. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on the away shirts, I think.
Can you remember when West Brom changed their mascot to Boiler Man?
A big, massive boiler. Ideal boiler.
I hope we don't have a boiler.
Fucking hell. Can you imagine?
To be honest, mate, I'd really wonder what's been happening to Lucas since COVID.
I can't remember.
Has he been furloughed, or is he having to go to Donny Wildlife Park as an exhibit?
He was binned way before COVID, though, weren't he?
We had somebody who listened to the podcast actually who was Lucas at one point, didn't we? Can you remember the copcat? Can you remember when we had that fucking elephant? That was
Ellie the elephant.
Ellie the elephant.
Remember that one? Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, Ellie the elephant. That were a particular travesty.
That looked like it had just been hired from like a local shitty. If you actually see photos of it now, it's horrendous.
Mate, do you know what?
Like a really shit fancy dress outfit.
Do you know Looney Bin on Almley Town Street? And if people know about the Looney Bin at Almley Town Street, then yeah.
Right. So now you know.
I'm not going any further than that.
Do you know what do you know where they got it from? If you've watched Beverly Hills Cop 3, when Axel Foley goes to Wonderland and they've got Okie Dokie, the big elephant, it's basically that. Leeds bought a second-hand Okie Dokie outfit and put a Leeds shirt on it. That's what I'm going with anyway.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. David Coates, Malta Leeds supporter, has just said, just to let you know, lads, as Leeds United Supporters Club Malta, we are setting a scheme to have a Malta as a central base for footballers to come from Africa, a sort of Leeds academy. Plus, if any Leeds supporters want to come over, we'll look after anyone. We're there. That's it. You don't need to tell us anymore.
We'll do a podcast.
Accommodation, etc., and we'll look after everyone. I'll tell you what, David, give us a nudge, and we'll come over and we'll do a live podcast for the Malta Whites.
Europa Conference League, here we come. Malta.
If they don't like us, we'll just come and have a drink with them. Then they'll like us even less. So that'd be great. I took my lad to Leeds. Has come back. He says we're in for a game, lads. But 4v2, we'll team up and take on the Leeds staff again. Lad left Ben Parker on his ass twice. Scored and assisted. Dad floated around shouting lots. Good work, Dad. Good work. Yeah, we're bang up for playing anybody. That's why we've come togged up, ready to go. I've got my shin pads on just below camera. You can't see. Ready to go. I'll be chalking my elbows up in no time. So yeah, that's the latest on the kits and stuff. Moving on to one of our favourite segments as well that we really like talking about, and there's a few good candidates this week.
Shit out of the week.
The shithouse of the week segment, and there's a few people. Jamie O'Hara, I'm not going to go into it because he works for that clickbait, listen bait website, radio station. And basically, he's got a real thing about Leeds as Jamie O'Hara. I don't understand what it is, but he's obsessed with us and he talks about us a lot, even though he supposedly hates us. So, knackers to him, he's on there. But one I did want to chuck in there, lads, is I had a little look on. Can
I just say it? Because he's a Spurs fan. That there's a thing came out that the last time Spurs won the league, it's actually closer to the Victorian era than the modern era.
I saw that tweet as well.
Brilliant. And the other nominee for me is Chelsea fans in general. So a journalist put out about Lewis Bay signing for Leeds, and the comments below it were nothing akin to sickening. So there was lots of comments about, we'll let him go, we'll then just buy him back when he's good again. He's crap anyway. We're buying the world-class players. Like this real Big Six arrogance thing that annoys me on a daily basis, to be truly honest. So I'm putting them in there for that.
It's weird. It feels like a lot of these.
Rags, have you got anybody to add
to
to this list?
Because obviously Chelsea are in for Haaland now.
I agree with that.
And obviously Man U buying Sancho.
Allegedly.
Well, yeah.
Mm.
It just feels like the shithouse tactic of trying to buy your fans back after the whole Super League thing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because they don't know anything else other than just throwing money at stuff. So,
I haven't got anything to add really. I've been kind of away from football Twitter for a couple of weeks really, and it's been nice. So I haven't got riled up at all. So it's quite good. So no, I haven't really got anything to add. So it's not good content, but yeah, I'm pretty zen.
Pretty zen, mate. Pretty zen.
Yeah.
Ben, have you got anybody to add to shit house of the week? We've currently got Jamie O'Hara and Chelsea fans as a whole. Well, not Chelsea fans as a whole. The Chelsea people who have got this arrogance
just
about
Chelsea.
Yeah, a lot of these fans, by the way, who commented probably don't remember the days of Frank Sinclair and playing at Stamford Bridge with no stand behind, which was like kind of me growing up. They had them like boards instead, and they had a ginger player who played for him whose name eludes me at the moment. I think he was a Scottish player. I can't remember anyway.
There were one Brighton fan on Twitter, and he was like trying to make a joke that we didn't get any money for Ben White.
Oh yeah, I saw
that was their saving grace, that we didn't get any money because they've just sold their best player for 50 million.
Yeah,
they're a strange bunch, the Brighton fans. To be honest, they're a strange bunch. I'm surprised they've agreed to sell him to Arsenal because they don't sell to a direct rival. So I'm quite surprised about that. If I'm really honest,
I think Ben White will outgrow Arsenal. Personally, give it 2 seasons. I think Ben White will outgrow Arsenal.
Probably. Yeah, probably. Liam Kent's just saying that his mate's a Chelsea fan. He said Lewis Bate is amazing, and there's apparently an article on The Athletic why young players are not signing their contract at Chelsea. Yeah, there's a few that are due to leave at that point. And Liam Kent's had another one in. Perry Groves, all over Phillips to Liverpool on TalkSport. Listen, we know what TalkSport are all about. They're just about listens and clicks and arguments and deliberately just being awkward. Yeah, well, Bob COVID-19 in there because it hasn't gone away as we hoped it would do. Who are we going to give it to, lads? COVID-19, Jamie O'Hara. Who are the other ones who we had in there? Oh, Chelsea fans of this particular ilk that feel like they can just buy everything. It's a tough one.
You know what? I'll say Jamie O'Hara just because the radio flicked on as I got into the car coming home from work today, and he was on there. Doing his wind-up merchant, but basically saying, Bielsa should leave Leeds because he's way bigger than Leeds, and just look, and that just, fuck me off.
I'll go.
Yeah, let's go, Jamie O'Hara.
Yeah, we'll go Jamie O'Hara. Been sacked as Billericay town manager now, hasn't he, as well? Bless him. So,
Well, I always remember him saying like, "Oh, don't expect you can come here and turn teams over," and then we did Spurs 3-1, and it's just one of them. He's like you say, he's just a wind-up. He's like a parody wind-up merchant. He did the setup out Scotland and that. He's just arrogant, just an arrogant guy.
So, Jamie O'Hara, well done. Shit house of the week. The first one for some time. Shall we say this is the first one of the new season? Seems the Euros are finished. And we could call it. Right, so other news then, before we start to wrap this up. As has been mentioned in the comments by a couple of people, yes, we were supposed to be recording live from a pub. But sadly, that has fallen through. So, we need you. We need you, Leeds fans. We need your help. We have not been together in 3D for about 16, 17 months, something like that. As last live guest was Dave from the Pigeons, Dave Best, which we enjoyed a lot. And then COVID struck and we've been on this since. We've had to kind of change the way that we record a little bit, try not to talk over each other, all that type of stuff. And we've probably lost an element of the podcast by having to do this. So we're wanting to get the band back together, back in some form of a studio. Now, when it's a studio, it doesn't have to be a studio. We literally need from somebody, if possible, a space to record. That's it. We just need access to Wi-Fi and somewhere to record. So
table and chairs have been nice.
Table and chairs. Oh, some power source as well. So if you want a pub, a restaurant, anything like that, and you want to host us, you want us to come and work from your place, we will give props to your business. We'll shout it out on the podcast, all that type of stuff. We'll work with you, but we just need somewhere to record from. To be really honest. So if you are that person who can help us, whether you've got I don't know, a man cave in your garden, whatever, somewhere you want us to or you'd like us to record from, just drop us an email at talkingshutt@gmail.com and we'll attempt to work with it. If not, we'll be continuing our search for our new home beyond that. So yeah, please give us a shout, and if you can think of anywhere, let us know. In other news, it's a very special person's birthday today. Very special. Marcelo Bielsa turns 63 today. He's not had a day off in 61 years. He's been following football ever since then. But a massive, massive, massive happy birthday to Marcelo Bielsa. There's some rumours he's been house hunting with his missus, and his missus is over at the moment, so that bodes really well. I've not seen him around Royston, to be honest, but I can't think why not. So we'll have to see. Oh, we've got to take a. Luke Hudson says, my missus says you can come if you've been Bamford.
Might be difficult.
Bit of a struggle. He's got his own podcast, so we might struggle with that one. How about if we bring a cardboard cutout of Bamford? We can try that. And Nat Clark's just corrected me, saying he's actually 66. Is he 66?
Yeah.
I thought I read
66, yeah.
66. So he's been, 66. So happy birthday, Marcelo Bielsa. And a happy birthday to a few Leeds fans as well, who I saw saying the shared a birthday with Marcelo. So yeah, happy birthday to them.
Many happy returns.
So next week, there'll be no Talking Shut next week. I know that's going to be no different to a lot of people. But me and Ben are off to Blackburn. Rags and Mike can't really do many other days other than a Wednesday. Plus, we pretty much play every day next week, or it feels like it anyway. Fleetwood followed by Guiseley, followed by Blackburn, followed by Real Betis. So it's a bit of a tight week. So what we're going to do instead is the week after, we're going to come and have a bumper episode where we'll cover all the pre-season friendlies. We'll talk about what Junior Firpo looks like in 3D, if he plays, obviously. And yeah, so that's where we'll be, not next week, the week after. Big thanks again to Manscaped. A big, massive thanks to everybody who's got involved in the comments and interacted. We've had a lot more people watching live this week, which is incredibly encouraging. I put that down to, obviously, the Euros being over and done with. And Johnny Boy, LUFC74, says, fancy a meet-up at Blackburn then, Gaz and Ben? I'm up for that, as long as you don't want to fight me or anything. I'm old. But I'm up to meet up, Johnny Boy. Yeah, gives a nudge, mate. And yeah, we'll see you at the game, which I'm incredibly looking forward to. It's my son's first ever away game, and he's incredibly excited. So looking forward to that. Again, big thanks to everybody who has tuned in. We really do appreciate you getting involved. Please share the podcast with other people. Tell other people to listen to it if you think it's any good. When we get back into 3D, we will try and start getting guests and stuff and build it back up to how it was prior to this horrible disease that's touched so many people's lives. That brings us to the end of episode 153, the transfer special-ish kind of thing. Big thanks to Rags, who smashed 500k running this year. Well done, Rags. Well done, mate.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.
Big thanks to Mike and his strategically placed terrace scarf and guitar. It's a pleasure to have you on with your greenery in the background again, Mike.
My pleasure.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you, mate. And we'll be posting some graphics up after the show of what it may look like with new signings and 23s and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that. And a big thanks to Ben, Technical Ben, who's going to now go away, use his technical wizardry to try and make all our new equipment work perfectly, ready for when we do get into 3D.
No pressure.
No pressure whatsoever. No pressure. Anyway, that's the end of episode 153. I'll see you there.
See you there.
See you there.